Hi you guys! So today I want to talk about Gilmore Girls! Oh my god, okay. So the Gilmore Girls A Year in the Life came out on Netflix a few days ago. I could have easily watched it in one sitting, but honestly I wanted to make it linger a bit and enjoy it a bit more. And yeah, every one of those episodes ended kind of like cliffhanger style. Like I wanted more. I am very pleased with it. I do have a lot of questions, like what the heck was that ending, but we'll get to it because this is going to be a long video that I'm going to talk about the characters, storylines in the new show. I'm so curious what people think. Honestly, none of my friends have finished it. I need to talk about it with someone and I don't have anyone, so that's why I was watching reviews, and I'm guessing that's why you're watching this as well. Okay, so first off, Luke and Lorelai are living together in the house. And they're together. They're a couple, but they're not married. They don't have kids of their own, and they do kind of consider it. They're considering a surrogate, and they kind of decide not to go that route. They do decide to get married eventually. Towards the end, obviously, it ends with like the quickie wedding, and I'm personally, like, this is my personal preference. I'm not a huge fan of marriage. I don't think it's necessary. They were fine without it for many years. So I don't see why couples often feel the need to, next step in our relationship is either marriage or kids. But that's just my personal preference. I'm not interested in marriage, so I kind of felt like they didn't have to get married. It wasn't like a big deal for me. Basically, Lorelai is rediscovering herself in this mini series, and we really see that as a reflection of her father's death, which I thought they did a really good job in portraying, like the sadness, the grief, yet the happy times. Like even just the voiceovers at one point of Richard was just so sweet, you know, and the story that she eventually tells her mom about her dad and her bad day at school and how they went to the movies, that was just like spot on for me. Like everything regarding Richard was perfect, and everything regarding Emily was perfect, but I'll get back to that later on. Right now, Lorelai, I thought it was really interesting that she agreed to go to therapy with her mom. Like I think she didn't catch on to it like she usually would have, I thought. But yeah, so she stayed in therapy after her mom and then felt like she needed to go do the wild book thing. And eventually she realizes that she was just not ready to face her dad's death, and through, I guess, the scene and just taking time out of her busy schedule and just reflecting a bit more, she finally came to her emotions. And yeah, it was just a nice moment to get that phone call for Emily and for Lorelai to finally just give that to her mom and just to free herself a bit of the grief. Yeah, she comes back, everything with Luke is fine. Like I thought the Lorelai storyline was pretty good. I like that she was emotional about Michelle leaving, and Michelle's storyline is nice as well, you know, like you can't expect this like city guy, like this is like a metropolitan guy. You can't expect him to stay in Stars Hollow forever, so I thought it was nice that, you know, like, yeah, I gotta go somewhere else, Lorelai, I love you, I'm thankful for everything we've gone through, but it's time to move on. The Sookie timeline, what the heck? Like every episode I was just kind of like, okay, where's Sookie? Okay, where's Sookie? Like I love Sookie. I'm not that much of a fan of Melissa McCarthy, but like I thought that was just kind of cheap. They kind of just like threw her in at the end, kind of like she didn't really have to be there. Like if she's just gonna come back to make cakes, I don't feel like it was necessary, you know? Like I like to see I like to see Sookie in action and like a little spastic and like, but she was just kind of showing off different cakes. Like it's nice, she just came back to make her cakes, but I don't know, it wasn't a big deal for me. And the whole series kind of felt like that. Like they tried to throw in every character that we love because we want to see them. Obviously we do, but they can't all develop them. They can't like, it was kind of like, oh, how are you now? Oh, I have 3 kids. That's the Dean storyline, right? Oh, like the kids are fine. Okay. They had to show the character, say why they were gone, say what was going on with them, and then it's just kind of like a feel-good moment, like gone too soon, you know? So that's how I felt with pretty much everyone. I'm going to talk about Emily. Emily's storyline was for me the best in this. It's her finding herself after Richard's death, finding herself as a single woman again, or like as a individual person, you know? She was so meticulous in taking care of Richard and like organizing the house. Like organizing a huge house like that must be a pretty big deal. Like I wouldn't know, but I have a little house here and it's a big deal. Cleaning is a big deal. I know she doesn't do it herself, but she has to take care of the people who do it. And speaking of the care, I really liked that she's become, like she's settled on a maid or a group, like they're a huge group, they're a family. She settled on this family. She's finally doesn't care about like, oh, this one speaks a certain accent, like I can't deal with her anymore. Like she's found one that she's gonna keep and she loves her food and she has nothing to complain about with her and she loves the family and she's taking care of them as well. Like you could see in the last scene, she's like making sure they all had blankets, like they were lying all over the place on the couches and the sofas. Like she's finally come to peace with who she is. She's let the DAR, like finally, and she's just become like a better version of herself. Not that she wasn't great before, but she had like this facade of having to find the perfect maid so that others could be impressed, or like the DAR, which is, she said it herself, so phony and everything's so fake about it. So I think Richard would be proud. I think that she's finally come into her own, and I think she's really happy right now. So I was really happy to see that storyline. I was disappointed that she wasn't called up for the secret wedding, but that's understandable. Her and Lorelai have gone through a lot and she will be at the official wedding. So it's understandable, but I think it would have been nice to see the 3 generations there, but no biggie. That's really what I'm most happy about in this whole miniseries, was Emily rediscovering herself as an individual person. Now for the 3 boys, okay? I am Team Jess, which you should know before I start talking about this. Not that I don't appreciate each guy's own phase in Rory's life, okay? So let's start off with Dean. I already mentioned him a bit. Really rushed, but really nice that she told him that he was like her best boyfriend and that he made her feel safe. Like that's what comes out the most from Dean's relationship with Rory, right? Like he would have given anything to her, but he just wasn't right, you know? You know, he's got a family. That's what he wanted. You know, he wanted a big family and a wedding, and he got it. So I'm very happy about that. Logan next, because I'm going to save Jess for last because I love him the most. Logan. I'm getting so riled up. I'm like sweaty too. Like this is a furry sweater. Okay, so Logan. I'm really disappointed that Rory's a mistress. Like she was already a mistress before to Dean. Like she lost her virginity to Dean while he was in a marriage. Like that was one of her low points, you know? That's when you just sympathize with her. You sympathized with her, like she cares for Dean, Dean cares about her, but it's just not right, you know? It's not the right timing. This is not what you guys actually want, you know? It's kind of just like an scapegoat. So I was really disappointed to see her doing that again. Like, didn't you learn your lesson the first time? Like, weren't you hurt? Like, I remember that episode where she loses her virginity and then her mom's like, what's gonna happen next, you know? Like, she's like, Dean loves me, and like, Dean is not your guy. He was my guy, like, and she's on the porch crying. Like, she should have learned her lesson. Like, don't fool around with guys that are in relationships. I do like the part how the brigade came in and took her away for a few hours, or like a night, an evening. And then that's how she ends up saying goodbye to Logan. Like that was all very sweet, but I think it would have been better if it was just that brigade part and not the whole secret relationship kind of thing. Like, I know it wasn't like, they're not official and it was like kind of aloof, but still she didn't like the fact that he had that he had a wife or a fiance, and like, oh, she's there, isn't she? Like there shouldn't be. I just didn't like that at all. Like, Rory's better than that. She's smarter than that. And she kind of, I feel like she kind of like, once again, dumbed herself down to Logan's level. When Logan was interested in Rory but didn't want to date her officially, he just wanted like an open relationship. She's like, oh yeah, I'm cool with that. But she actually wasn't. I feel like that was the whole thing again. Like, I don't know. I didn't like that at all. But I do like how they said goodbye. But I do have an issue, and I'm going to bring it up now. I do have an issue with this whole miniseries, is that they tried to pull time like longer. Like, I'm not explaining myself correctly, but like the play, that was way too long. That was like a 15-minute play. Like, this, like, we want to see action. Like, we want to see people talking. We want to see, like, this show is not about the frou-frou, it's about relationships. So when they pulled that long theatrical number for so long, I was just like, okay, we get it. We love Dosey's like extravaganzas and like how he's crazy and stuff, but I'm not really interested in seeing the whole show, you know? They could have cut it shorter. I like that show part where she comes back in, that girl's singing a song, and Lorelai really enjoys it and like feels something for it, and that's how she kind of has her epiphany. But it was just way too lengthy. Another instance of that is that whole Life and Death Brigade. That was way too long. They're like walking the streets, like marching, and like this whole choreographed number. Why would they be running one direction and then coming back one direction and then coming back in the other direction? Like, aren't they going somewhere? Like, why are they running around town like that for no reason? That was really not necessary. I would have liked just that slow motion run and then like hopped into a car and then drove off or something. There's not much time, so you shouldn't be wasting it. It just kind of felt like a waste because, yeah, especially that theater show though, that was like ridiculous. So I'm gonna move on to Jess. Jess, we didn't see enough of him. Like, I can never get enough of Jess, and I wish there was more of it. Like, him coming in, getting that drink with Rory, having a drink with Rory and proposing the idea of the book, I thought that was great. And seeing how how Lorelai still has like an annoyance with Jess, that was nice too, because she was like, oh, what does he have to say about my life, you know, something like that. A little moment, but I wish we saw more of him the next day. I wish we saw him more or not the next day, but the next time we saw him was at Lorelai's place. He's like reading a book and kind of suggesting the coat pocket handkerchief, whatever, to Luke. But then the only interaction he has with Rory after that is about the book. Oh, the 3 chapters of the book are done. Yay, yay, she leaves. And then he looks at her through the window and you see the love has never left him. Okay, I have a hypothesis about this whole mini-series. I'm going to get to that at the end, but just remember that I talked about it here. But yes, Jess still loves Rory. He will always love Rory, and they are definitely meant to be. He's grown into a man. He's not the kid he used to be, and they were the most interesting to watch, you know. So next up is Paris and Doyle. Paris, I loved her moments as well. Her and Emily definitely had the best timelines or like whatever storylines in this. Paris works at the fertility place, which was great. She's like her own businesswoman, but I love that when they go back to Tilton, she loses it again. Because there had to be a Paris meltdown throughout this miniseries, and there was, and it was great. When she opens that briefcase and it's empty, I lost it. It was so good. She's definitely one of the best roles, and I was kind of disappointed that it wasn't actually Tristan. Chad Michael Murray was not there. Like, I don't know who that guy was that they were trying to make us believe was him, but I wish Chad Michael Murray was there and that there had been a little like, hey Paris or something. Like, I would have lost it. That was really a funny part. That briefcase though, that was hilarious. Like, look at me. I like the fact that she has kids, but kind of like her own upbringing, she's kind of letting the maids take care of them, which I'm not into, like, I wish she had developed more of a maternal bond to her kids or something, because I remember, like, her mother figure was her nanny, so I just didn't want that for her own kids, but so it goes. That's how things developed. Doyle part was just like fine, you know, it's just, it was fine. Like, they didn't have to do anything else about it. So the kind of like the last main character that I want to talk about is Lane. I was really disappointed with her storyline. You don't see much of it, and it hasn't developed much, you know? They still have the band, she still has her kids, obviously, she's still in a relationship, and like Brian kind of lives with them. Is that his name? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Brian. We do see her dad, which is fun, like, 'cause he was always such a mystery. And her mom's there. All that was fine. I just wish they maybe had something else for her, like, kind of disappointing. I wish she had like a project or something, or I don't know, or that we saw more of her, that Rory confided in her more. I don't know. It was just kind of like, oh, can I come in and check my boxes? Like, okay, fine, come in. Like, it didn't have much to it. I like the fact that she was Luke's, like, best man, I guess. That was really cute, because she did work at Luke's Diner for a while, and they did develop a pretty good relationship through that. So I thought that was nice. Oh yeah, another character that I just want to talk about was Kirk. I like the fact that they made a second movie for him, and I like his little pig pedal. Like, his storyline was cute, and I really like the fact that he decorated that gorgeous wedding. Just accepted the praise and wasn't like all annoying about it, just like looking at his phone like it's perfect or it's beautiful or whatever, and he was just kind of like happy, like feeding his pig the bottle. So now, okay, my hypothesis, I'll finally give you it. So my hypothesis is that obviously it's pretty easy to assume that this is like a circle of life kind of, not metaphor, but kind of feel they want to give to it. So Logan is like Christopher to Lorelai, and Jess is kind of like the Luke to Rory. Okay, is that, so Jess is like Luke, which is pretty obvious, and then Logan is like Christopher, which is pretty obvious. That's what I'm trying to say. So then it's like the rehashing of the original story through those 4 last words. Rory is pregnant. I imagine it's Logan's baby, because it's definitely not that Paul or Peter guy, which is an issue I have. I haven't talked about Rory left because I'm talking to her about her at the end, because it's kind of it now. But I'm really disappointed that Rory had a relationship this whole time, like for over a year, I'm guessing. Because this is, the whole miniseries is a year, and then she's been with this guy for another like 2 years or something. I don't even know. But she's just like stringing this poor guy along. Like, I felt, not like bullying, but I felt like that's really freaking rude to do to someone. Like, okay, he's forgettable. I get the joke. I get that they're just trying to put in a bit of humor in it, but it's just really rude. Like, I can't imagine if a guy was stringing along a girl, like, oh, she's forgettable. Like, there'd be backlash against that. Like, it wouldn't be just like funny. It's hurtful. Like, I feel bad for the guy, and I feel like Rory's like grown up to be some bitch. Like, that's just really rude to do to someone. And like, okay, you forget about him, but like, you're obviously not showing any effort because you're so freaking rude. I just couldn't believe it. And like, he's in the last scene too. She's like, oh, he breaks up with her in the last scene. Maybe he wasn't putting a lot of effort in the relationship either, because they weren't seeing each other all the time, but at least like he showed up when they made plans. Like, he wouldn't forget about her, or like leave her in Luke's diner in the bathroom when she like leaves, and like, oh, comes back because she forgot about him. Like, that's just super rude in my opinion. Like, I don't know, I was just really annoyed by that little whole thing. Like, it's just messed up. You don't do that to someone. Maybe I'm like, obviously I'm like a Debbie Downer here, like it's supposed to be a joke, but I just thought that they should not have done that. Is just pretty rude. The fact that she's pregnant, obviously it's not to that guy, because she never sees that guy. It's Logan. That baby's Logan's. What I'm envisioning as their future is that the same thing that happened to Lorelai will happen to Rory, so that she'll raise this baby alone, like obviously not because she has a support system, that Logan is the father, and then eventually she will end up with Jess, kind of like Luke and Lorelai. So that's what I think of it. Like, I'm kind of disappointed that those are the 4 last words, because it's kind of like another cliffhanger. Like, are they gonna shoot something else? Like, is there gonna be another miniseries or like a full-blown series? Like, they can't just leave it like that. And I feel like they are, like, that's what, because I don't think the actors are all interested in continuing. I don't know. It's just kind of messed up. And making it like that, I feel like Lorelai wanted more for Rory than what happened to her, you know? Obviously Rory's not 16 and she has the support system, like I said, but like, she's just starting her career. She's writing this book. Like, we don't even know if it's going to be successful or anything. Obviously it will be because it's Gilmore Girls and it's a great story, but I don't know. I feel like Lorelai would be disappointed. I feel like Rory's kind of like a letdown. I really like the fact that she's writing the story about their lives, but I feel like the whole issue with the Logan relationship is messed up, and like, I'm happy she found herself and she's writing this book and her mom's okay with it now. But, and then this baby, like, what the heck? Like, I don't know. I really don't know what they're trying to go for. Are they trying to set it up for another season? Are they just screwing it with their minds? Like, they've had these 4 words planned out for a while, I think, no? But yeah, so this is my review. Please, can we start like a conversation in the comments, please? I really want like a back and forth. I want to talk to you guys about the show because I'm dying. I want to share it with someone and no one is available. No one watched it. Like, I know a few friends who've started it, but they haven't finished it. So I really want to talk about it. So please comment what you guys think about it down below and let's converse. Okay, so I think I talked about everything I wanted to. Hope this video wasn't too long or too boring, but yeah, it's Gilmore Girls. Gilmore Girls is life. We love it. Like, we love these characters. That's why we talk about them. So yeah, overall, I'm happy with it, but I want more. Always wanting more. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.